Some of these field testing live action elements later, like Suicide Squad and things like that.
Well, the thing is, there's even with all the comics that have ever existed, there really are only a handful of classic stories that are great beginning, middle to end, masterpieces. You get to do Dark Knight Returns eventually, that kind of thing. Year One is a great story, and it stands the test of time. Killing Joke is one of those, but it's also been a scary one to get to, because it's pretty rough. It's really rough material. And it's also short. It's not really long enough for a whole 72-minute animated film. So it took a while to get to it. Sadly, real-life things like a guy shooting up people at a Batman movie also push things back when we want to get to them, because it becomes a little too sensitive.
Yeah.
And these are all part of the backstory of why Killing Joke has taken so long to happen. Also, Bruce had stopped doing the direct-to-video movies for a while, and James Tucker's been doing an awesome job on them. But it was also the kind of thing that you kind of want to wait for Bruce to be back in the arena and working with Batman again. And the timing was just right. Other movies that we decided to do, like Doomsday was a big story for Superman. Even having worked on Superman, there's not a lot of big stories that could stand a translation to Superman. So we tend to do a lot of original stories that take elements from a whole bunch of different stories and make it into something that's new. We've also started doing these, the stories are now all kind of linked together, and it's a one universe, so it's a shared universe. It's not the New 52 per se, it's its own thing. It's the animated universe. And so those stories kind of live in their own place, enabling us to do things like have maybe a Teen Titans that has Damian as the Robin, who's in the Teen Titans, which would be different, Is it going to be good? We always hope so, but it's also going to be something that you can't even get in a comic book. It's going to be something you can't get anywhere else. It's not necessarily a test for future movies, but the stuff that works in animation, movies definitely have stolen from animation. Harley Quinn's going to be in a movie. That's awesome. That's amazing. And the Suicide Squad animated movie that we did knowing that there was going to be a Suicide Squad movie, and it really was just a way to get that name and term and those characters out there to the universe, to people who may not have been familiar with the comic books from 20 years ago. So it's been, everything kind of goes hand in hand, and whatever works moves on and goes on to make me movies or other animated movies, or sometimes into the comics. Characters are now coming from our TV shows and going into the comic books. Felicity Smoke came from the comics, but she was a super minor character in Arrow. Now she's on TV, she's really popular, the actress is great. Now the creators of the comics want to put that character in the comic, and it's just like everything feeds off each other, and what becomes popular is popular because it's popular. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It is a good question. Let's go to the back of the room. There's somebody at the back. I see a hand all the way right behind Green Lantern back there. Yeah, all the way. Yeah, in the gray. You. Yes, you. It's
Oh no, it's you.
It's you. Use your outside voice.
Speak up.
In terms of recording the original Batman, the animated series, Kevin, which episode did you find that you enjoyed or had the most fun recording?
I really enjoyed recording Dreamscape and Perchance to Dream. Those are two of my favorites. And Mask of the Phantasm, which I think it's the best Batman movie of all the Batman movies, the live action or animated or anything, because it gets into the whole background of Batman, Bruce Wayne. It tells you that whole backstory and his passions and why he's driven to be what he is. But Perchance to Dream and Dreamscape I really liked, because actors just like to be challenged, and I got to do a lot of different voices in those ones.
Well, the Phantasm actually reminds me that we should also, we're talking about Paul Dini and Bruce Timm. Alan Burnett has been with the project from the beginning. Mask of the Phantasm is really great, and Alan is still involved in all our direct-to-video movies, and he's involved in some future projects that we can't tell you about yet. But I think he's the unsung hero of all of the Batman and Justice League animated series.
And he's another guy who likes actors.
Yep.
It's so great to work with someone who you just know passionately likes what you do
Yeah.
and has your interests at heart.
He's such a fan of Hollywood and movies, and he really, like, he lives it every day.
Yeah, he does.
And
He's a
just
great guy.
Great and knowledgeable.
Good question. Do we have a Batman?
Yeah, we
Yeah, come on up here and grab your, or somebody